Welcome to the Rock is George podcast. I'm your host, George Dionne, and this is episode 99. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, whether you're listening on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or one of the many podcasting platforms on which we appear. And be sure to check us out at theloudest.com on the planet, knac.com. My guest for this episode is Alexander Strandell. He is the vocalist for the Swedish melodic rock supergroup CROWNE. CROWNE is made up of members of Dynasty, Art Nation, Heat, Europe, and the Poodles. Their debut album, Kings in the North, was released in 2021, and there was such a huge response to it that they're back with their sophomore release, Operation Phoenix. It's out on January 27th. And here's Alexander Strandell of CROWNE to tell you more about it. If I knew absolutely nothing about CROWNE, how would you describe the band's music to me?
I would say that it's a mix between metal and good hard rock music.
How did this project come together? This brings together members of Dynasty, Heat, Europe, and the Poodles. How were you all brought together for this project?
It's actually started back during the pandemic when all of us had not that much doing because we weren't able to be out touring as usual and that kind of thing. So it started out that Frontiers wanted my voice on the solo record that they wanted Jonah T from Heat to produce and write. But when me and Jonah met up, we clicked very good, and we felt that it would be cool to do something more. So we started to work together and started to write together. And during the time, we thought of like reach out to some other guys, and it was like that. I actually just wrote to the other guys on Facebook, and we're like, yeah, we have this thing going on, and it would be cool to set up a band, and they had a time at the moment, so they were thrilled about it, and they liked the music. So yeah, it was a little luck, I guess. So yeah.
Were there any issues bringing members on board since everybody's main project is on a different label?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little tricky from the start, but the best part was that because I had the contract with Frontiers, so it became actually very easy because they were just like musician on the album, but everything went through me, if you know what I mean. And now with Operation Phoenix, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the rest of the guys did is some sort of individual deal with Frontiers, but CROWNE on the paper is actually on just me. So yeah.
And your latest album, Operation Phoenix, is set for release on January 27th through Frontiers. It's only been about 18 months since the release of your debut, Kings in the North. Did you guys just start writing after the release of the last album, or did you have some leftover material to work with?
We actually started to write almost directly after the release of Kings in the North, because we knew that we needed to release something more, and we were very thrilled about it because it was very fun releasing Kings in the North. Many people were so excited, and yeah, we got very much attention about the first album, so it felt natural to start working on Operation Phoenix, and yeah, something like that.
Now, you mentioned that initially CROWNE was gonna be a project built around you and your vocals. So as far as the songwriting dynamic is concerned, were you and Jonah T the main guys writing music for the first album, and then with this new Operation Phoenix, were the rest of the guys more involved?
We actually did it the same way as we did with Kings in the North, because at least in my opinion, I think it's easier and more effective to not bring in like too many peoples in the songwriting part. I mean, if we were living in the perfect world, of course it would be amazing to like, you know, like drive to a cool place and sitting there for some month and just like hanging out and record together. But it's like it's so hard these days, and especially when it's hard to live on playing music these days, because there are so many artists and band, and you have so many other bands you need to like fight against all the attention. So we did it as we do with Kings in the North. It was me and Jonah that write all the songs, and we like had a very straight and close dialogue during all the song writing process. So
let's talk a little bit about the songs that you've released ahead of the album. If you don't mind talking about the meanings behind them, let's talk about the title track, Operation Phoenix.
We started out with Kings in the North. That was like more about, you know, that the world was a little upside down. I mean, Mad World was like a typical way of describing that, and it was like a lot of frustration. And Operation Phoenix is more like the lyric says, like rise from the ashes and try to continue live, even if the pandemic has been and are still like a very hard thing during the whole world at the moment. So I mean, the Operation Phoenix is supposed to be something something maybe more positive, and just the title track is like describing that very good, like rise from the ashes and start seeing straight forward, if you know what I mean.
So in keeping with this positivity, I assuming that's where you go with the single Champions.
Exactly.
So if you want to talk a little bit about, you know, the meaning behind that song specifically.
Yeah, but it's actually the same vibe as Operation Phoenix, that trying to see yourself and all your loved ones and all your friends, you know, feeling like this champion that can go through anything, and again, you know, like rise from everything that has been bad or sad or the tragic that comes along the pandemic. I mean, we have dealt with so many different situations. I mean, some people have lost their close ones, some people have lost their jobs, and I mean, it has been a so strange and difficult situation. So yeah, it's just like this positive vibe of being a true champion to yourself and your own life, you know.
You have another single out, In the Name of the Fallen. It has sort of a Stranger Things homage to it in the beginning, and kind of the way that it's all set up. If you want to talk a little bit about the meaning behind that song.
Yeah, the only thing is that I actually haven't been part of that song at all. Actually, it's Jonas 100%. So it's hard for me to like talk about it more than I really like the song, and I love the Stranger Things vibe. It was actually my idea to the music video to have this little upside down world vibe around the song, because I thought it felt natural to the song. So yeah.
So you guys are from Sweden, and when I think of Sweden, I think a lot of Americans think of Sweden. We think of ABBA, and you have a song called Super Trooper, but it's not a cover of ABBA.
Yeah, and that's also a very very fun story. I mean, it was like it was actually one of the songs that I wrote 100%, and it was like I had Super Trooper as a work name of the song, because it was like this hook, you know, and I really saw the potential in the song of having some sort of hook like that, Super Trooper, blah blah blah. And when I introduced the song to the other guys, I was a little afraid that everyone would be like, "But come on, Alex, what the hell is this? You can't like name drop a song called Super Trooper." But actually, I was the only one that wanted to change it to something else, because I was a little afraid that people would see it too cheesy or see it as a problem that it was named after the ABBA song. But everyone was like, they were so thrilled about having the same name. So we decided that go for Super Trooper. So yeah.
I'd say it's a better title than if you went with Fernando.
Yeah. That's really true.
Are you guys thinking about playing some live dates, or is everybody just too busy with all their other stuff?
I mean, we have a lot going on with our other bands. All of us are gonna play a lot, both in Sweden and Europe this year. But we are actually planning and see if there are any possibilities to do maybe some live shows with Crown. I mean, we really want if we have the time. So at least we have it in mind.
The closest thing that fans will get to you live then is last year's release of Live from Studio Grandal.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys did a little video that accompanied that, so essentially it's live.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we have that, and we actually talked about because the main problem is that we need to really focusing on learning the songs like 100%. It's one thing to like doing that in the studio. You can cheat a little and do some things not like 100% live, because you can, yeah, you can do a lot in the studio, but doing it live you need to do it 100%. So the main thing for us now is to like having the time to actually do Crown as good as we want it to be when we do it live. And we talked about the live thing we did at Grandals, that we actually we did that in just like 1 or 2 days. So yeah, at the moment it feels doable to take Crown out and do some live shows.
Are you still working with Art Nation, or is Crown like your thing now?
If you had asked me like 1.5 years ago, I would definitely say that Crown was the only thing, because it has been like some crazy years for Art Nation with like several members that jumped off, and I had like a very hard time with myself and my own health that needed to like prioritize. But actually, I reunited with my former member Christopher that started up Art Nation many years ago, and we actually got the master recorded for our fourth album today. So it will actually be a new Art Nation album this year as well. So at the moment we have actually more, at least from my point of view, I have even more with Art Nation at the moment than with Crown. So it's very fun that it's happening, a lot of things at the moment.
You did a solo single back in 2018 called Bonfire Heart. Are you planning on any more solo material in the future?
Yeah, that's really fun of you mentioning that. It was so fun to just doing something that I hadn't done before, and of course I have that on my mind as well, of releasing some solo pop songs as well. But at the moment I have so much things going on. I mean, I have 3 albums with 3 different bands this year, plus some guest appearance, some different Frontiers project as well. So I need to prioritize, and at the moment Art Nation and Crown is my main thing at the moment.
Are you allowed to talk about which upcoming Frontiers projects you're going to be on this year?
I actually can't, because Frontiers are so they are so hard with all this all of the rules. But I can tell that something is going to release very soon, that I'm guessing. So yeah, just keep your eyes and ears open the last weeks here. So yeah.
Frontiers is kind of known for putting together super groups. Is there any friendly competition between you and other super groups? And I would say the only other Swedish super group that I know of is Geneva or Geneva.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's so hard because I mean, of course, we all band in so many ways are compete about, you know, having the best, most attentions and getting all the best shows and jobs and that kind of things. But I mean, in the end, I think we need to like see the whole hard rock community as a whole big family, because it's already hard as it is being a hard rock musician these days. It's very few people that actually live on just like being in one band, playing an instrument or singing.
Well, those are all the questions I have for you today, Alex. The new Crown album is Operation Phoenix. It comes out January 27th on Frontiers Music. Great release. I wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Once again, I want to thank Alexander Strandell of CROWNE for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out their latest album, Operation Phoenix, through Frontiers Music. Head over to your favorite music streaming platform. Take a listen to what's available. If you like what you hear, go out and buy a physical copy. Support the artist. For all things Crown, head over to their Facebook page, facebook.com/officialcrown. I also want to thank John Freeman of Freeman Promotions and Frontiers Music for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. I'll see you again soon.